Road fatalities on this our little island home are at an alarming rate. And with just 4 days to go before the new year begins, we want to encourage caution on our roadways. Obey the road signs and reacquaint yourself with them if you need to. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Come take a ride with me as we navigate the roadways in this Jamaica Magazine. Is 2023 the year you plan on getting your driver's license? Maybe even a car? Vroom, vroom. Well, we want to help you take the necessary steps. So grab your notepad and sit with us as we take you through the know-hows and answer any questions you might have. Yes, those signs you usually ignore when you are just a passerby or maybe a mere occupant of a vehicle, you're about to learn their importance. You'll also learn the consequences of not following them. Now that you're about to occupy the driver's seat, let's go for a ride.
It could be the cause of a traffic holdup, disturbing the smooth movement of vehicles. It could be the cause of your arrest or punishment, where, depending on the degree of your offense, you're likely to be fined or jailed. It could be the cause of your physical injury, or that passerby having one less leg to depend on. Or it could be the cause of your life or someone else's. If you're realizing the grisly pattern here, then now would be the time to practice road safety. Road safety implies that measures are in place to limit or prevent road crashes or injuries to users of these thoroughfares. Road users include motorists, vehicle passengers, motorcyclists, and pedestrians. Measures for their safety include things like road signs, road codes, or even physical infrastructure.
On the traffic network, we have various road signs. So we have mandatory signs, and we have warning signs, and we have informational signs. So the warning signs are basically those signs that tell you that there is some impediment ahead, there is some issues ahead. So you'll see those are normally in the yellow and the black. So they will tell you that there's a traffic light ahead, there's an intersection ahead, there is a corner ahead, and there are other physical features ahead, or bridge, etc. We have the mandatory sign. These are signs that must be obeyed. If you disobey them, just know that you will be issued a traffic ticket. Those signs are normally red. They normally have a red in them. So keep your money in your pocket by obeying those red signs. So they are normally red and white or red, white and black. But that's the common feature of those. Then you will see the signs that are informational. Some of them are blue, some are green. Those just tell you where you must go, how many kilometers away you are from a particular township or location.
Now, after you've had a careful look at road signs as you go along, knowing and understanding the road codes becomes just as important. For us, we've seen people disobey some of those rules more than others.
One of the critical road rules that we must understand is that you see the speeding thing that we love, we need to cut it out. The faster you are going, and if you are involved in a collision, the speed at which the vehicle is going, that's the speed your internal organs are going. That's scientific laws, kinetic energy. The other one, serious risk factor, is the whole matter of not wearing helmet and wearing seatbelt. We have had too many drivers and passengers of motor vehicle parachuting out of motor vehicles. Another risk factor that's out there is the whole matter of cell phone usage. Those things can be distracting, right? So we need also to minimize that as best as possible.
Physical infrastructures have also been implemented to ensure a safer passage on our roadways. observing all these measures becomes necessary because of the severe impact that disregarding them can and have had on our nation's people.
The numbers are always alarming because for a little country like us, and we're gone 178 days, that's pathetic. But last year this time it was 218. Now it's 178, 40 less. These crashes tend to occur on the road surfaces that are nicely laid. That is not to say that they don't occur on the bad roads, you know. The road infested with potholes and bad. I'm not saying that. There are few occur on there, but majority of these fatal crashes are occurring on the nicely laid road sections. And when we look at what contributes to the crashes, we are seeing the human behavior being perpetuated. And we are losing a lot of our young people because of this situation. Must wear our seatbelt, wear our helmet. We have seen over 178 people dead already. Many were not wearing their protective gear. We know that. So we need to reduce those risk factors. We have been giving away our lives on the road. Giving it away. 54 motorcyclists dead, all males. Many of whom have their family members who they are living for. COVID-19 has caused us to recognize the importance of following rules and regulations in order to try to keep ourselves safe. Because of COVID-19, the spiral of crashes that we were expecting to occur at night, it has reduced dramatically. But what we have seen is that there is still cause for concern because in the day, COVID-19 has not caused drivers to be more careful as they drive on the road. Let us use that same impetus and spirit of wanting to live through Corona to wanting to live as we drive on the road and not put ourselves at risk and not put other people at risk. Let us try to be each other's keeper in this season.
So, while on the road, let's help to protect her life, his life, their lives, and our lives.
So now that you're well versed on the road signs and how to treat them as you traverse the roadways, let's go get those documents that permit us to go behind the wheel in the first place.
Imagine having the freedom to get yourself to where you want to go, when you want to go, and with whomever you want, really. Well, achieving that freedom could very well start with acquiring a provisional or learner's driver's license. And the steps to getting there? Pretty simple. A provisional driver's license permits an unlicensed individual to operate a motor vehicle on the public roads while under the supervision of a licensed driver. Persons can obtain their learner's permit from as early as age 17.
In order to acquire a provisional driver's license, you're going to need to have 3 passport-size pictures that are signed by a JP, right? So you need you will need to fill out that application for a provisional driver's license form that must be filled out. Also, you need to show proof of identification, whether it's national ID, passport. If you don't have any of those, birth certificate.
So after you've presented all those documents, it's now time to do the road code test.
The road code test is free. There is no charge. It is easy. Once you have passed, a sealed document will be sent to the tax office. It must not be opened at all. And you will pay $1,800 for that provisional driver's license. Now, no fees are to be paid at any examination depot. And then you are on the quest to learn to drive. You must ensure that that vehicle that you are operating, right, have the L both at the front and at the back. And the L must have a white background with a red L.
While it's fairly simple, the Island Traffic Authority has put provisions in place for those who may fail the road code test.
Remember now, we have a scheduling system, right? So persons are scheduled and it depends on whether or not whether or not space is available. But oftentimes we try to facilitate as best as possible based on the schedule, right? So it's very important for persons to understand that in order to schedule your road code test, you can send an email to dita@mtw.gov.jm or driver's license at mtw.gov.jm. I assure you, you'll get a response in less than 24 hours.
And just like that, you are now the holder of your very own provisional driver's license. So, you've acquired your provisional or learner's driver's license, and the next step is getting the real deal. Well, the process for getting each is a bit different, but nonetheless very achievable. Here in Jamaica, there are 3 categories available: a motorcycle license, a private license for motor cars only, and a general license, which is for any vehicle including motorcycles and public passenger vehicles. Now it's time to head to an Island Traffic Authority depot. But don't leave these important documents: a completed driver's license application form, signed by a justice of the peace or a notary public, the examination fee receipt, your provisional driver's license or learner's permit, and 3 passport-size photographs, also signed by a JP or notary public.
You should prepare yourself for 3 things: the written test, the yard test, and the road test.
It's mandatory for all applicants to complete this written test. Individuals are required to read a sentence, then complete the written test where the knowledge of vehicle mechanics will be tested for general license applicants.
And after you have passed the written test, then we take it to the yard test.
During the yard test, applicants' ability to start on a gradient or hill, parallel park, and reverse will be assessed.
Once you have completed the yard test, the yard operations, yes, then we can take you out to the road. Once you have passed all 3 components, then then a certificate of competence will be issued with respect to you. If you have not executed the components properly, you will then be required to come back, right, to do the components that you have failed.
And there you have it, the Island Traffic Authority's simple steps to help you achieve your very own driver's license.
So you have your license, you're caught up on all the signs and how to maneuver the roadways. It's time to hit the pavement, right? But what if you in fact hit something else? We urge you to take every care possible, especially during the holidays. Wear your seat belts. Do not drive under the influence. Share the roadway. Drive defensively. And pull over if you're feeling sleepy, and get a loved one on the phone. And that phone, notice I said pull over. Cell phone usage while driving is the reason for many unfortunate occurrences on our roadways. Put them away. Speeding is another. Slow down. But in the event there is an accident, here's what you should do.
You know how they say accidents do happen, unexpectedly and often unintentionally. Though road safety experts no longer define these unfortunate incidents involving motor vehicles as accidents, they're certainly never intended. Unfavorable weather conditions, objects on the road, your miscalculation while driving, or another driver can cause crashes, even for the best defensive drivers. That's exactly why it's important to know how to respond in these situations. So, what do you do at that exact moment? What should be your next steps? And when and how should you file a police report?
For the number of reports that come to this station, Perhaps it's on a basis of about 10 to 15 per day. That's the number of accidents per day. So after a road traffic accident, person should first try to clear the roadway if they are obstructing the traffic for other motorists. Secondly, drivers are expected to exchange vehicle documents, and the document should include their registration certificate, certificate of fitness, insurance certificate, and your driver's license information. Those are the essential 4 pieces of information that should be provided to both parties after an accident. Contact information is optional, but you have cases where a person tries to settle outside insurance, and that's now a civil matter. It's an agreement between both parties. So if they want to exchange contact information, that's also optional, depending on the intention that they have in terms of fixing the vehicle outside insurance or what.
Your next step? Making a police report about the collision. This is always a good idea. That way you have proof of exactly what happened and the scope of any injuries.
In terms of our approach as police officers for a motor vehicle accident, first, the critical thing is to check for injuries, make sure that persons are okay. If there's a need for persons to be assisted to the hospital for any sort of treatment, we should make sure we render assistance to persons in need of that care first. Secondly, we check for the damage for the vehicles, make sure there is no obstruction along the roadway, and then we can treat with the document or the exchange of particulars between both parties. After making a report of a motor vehicle accident, the next step that persons are advised to do is to make a report to their insurance company, and that's for another motorist. As it relates to a pedestrian or persons who are injured, they are also advised to get the assistance of an attorney to file a personal injury claim against the party that is liable in the accident. For follow-up visits, what we do, we have cases where persons are seriously injured, some of which are not able to make it to the station to give a report in the first instance. So what we try to do, whether the persons are hospitalized, we ensure that visits are made and that the person's conditions are updated as we go along. As we through the investigation, we ensure that the person's conditions are updated along the procedure.
But are you always required to report traffic collisions?
Not in all cases a report must be filed for accidents. We have situations where it could be a very minor mishap. For example, someone could be reversing from their garage, they could bump their gate. So in those cases, it's not necessary for them to make a report. But for other situations involving another motorist, or a case where a pedestrian or a property is damaged, a report is expected to be made, because persons at times are expected to make claims, whether from their insurance company or their attorneys, based on the damage received or the injuries they've sustained.
Reports from the Road Safety Unit shows that up to April 26, 139 lives have been cut short because of road crashes this year, with over 100 of those being males. And for the corresponding period last year, 136 lives were lost in road crashes. On a more global level, studies from the World Health Organization (WHO) show that approximately 1.35 million people die each year as a result of road traffic crashes, and 3% of most countries' gross domestic product is spent on road traffic crashes.
The most common cause of motor vehicle accidents, from my understanding, it's mostly impatience on the part of some of the drivers, and lack of knowledge as to how the roadways should be used. And I also believe the implementation of traffic signs at various areas would also aid the process, because most drivers are not aware of what to do at various parts of the roadway.
In the face of such figures, even the most careful driver can suddenly encounter a bit of bad fortune on the road. You know that saying, decisions can be like car accidents, sudden and full of consequences. So how about making the right decision to be responsible road users today?
Up next, get the facts on the procedures as it pertains to having your vehicle seized.
And I'll tell you first about the reasons when the police should not seize the vehicles, because they don't have the lawful authority to do so. If you don't have a driver's license in your possession, the police should not seize the vehicle. They can prosecute you under the Road Traffic Act. Now, there's a difference between not having a driver's license and not having your driver's license in your possession. If a person was never issued with a driver's license, that person clearly should not be driving a motor vehicle. What the police will do in those circumstances is that, for one, the person will be prosecuted. If they find out that the owner of the vehicle allowed the individual without a driver's license to use the vehicle, that person, the owner, can be prosecuted as well. Otherwise, the police will take possession of the motor vehicle because they will not allow a continuation of the offense. They will take possession of the motor vehicle and will get someone who has a driver's license or the owner to come and claim that vehicle. We don't seize a motor vehicle for no insurance coverage. The person will be prosecuted, but it is not a seizable offense. No registration of fitness is not a seizable offense. The police can lawfully seize your vehicle if the vehicle is not licensed. There is a provision in law that is referred to as the month of grace. So 1 month after your registration expires, if you are within that 1 month period, the police should not seize the vehicle. Your vehicle can be seized lawfully if you don't have a registration plate affixed. So you're driving around with no registration plate, it can be seized. Or if the registration plate is so obscure that you can't see what's on it, your vehicle can be seized under the Road Traffic Act. There are other acts that the police can lawfully seize your motor vehicle. For instance, if you are operating in contravention with the provisions of your license that was issued to you, your vehicle can be seized under the Road Traffic Act as well. Also, under the Dangerous Drug Act, Section 24 of that act allow the police to seize vehicle if the vehicle is suspected to be used in commission of those offenses. Also, on a broader sense, is that if the police have reason and evidence that your vehicle was involved in a criminal activity, then the vehicle can be seized and the owners can be held accountable even if they were not the ones that were driving the vehicle at the time. So those are the circumstances when your vehicle can be lawfully seized by the police. There are other provisions when you can have your vehicle towed. If you park in areas that are designated no parking, if you park your motor vehicles that are too close to fire hydrants, then your vehicles can be towed. And in instances where your vehicles are seized, the vehicle should not be returned to you until the provisions of the law is satisfied. So if your vehicle was seized for not being registered or licensed, it will not be returned to you until you go and get your vehicle licensed and you pay the appropriate and prescribed fines. Then your vehicle will be released to you. So it's important for persons to know when your vehicle can be lawfully seized as opposed to when it cannot be lawfully seized.
You told me that I can be who I want to be. You say that I'm the future, free to rule my destiny. You said that if I work hard, I will succeed. You You said my rights were protected, and I believe. You told me you'll be there in my time of need, but you didn't tell me of all this exploitation, selfishness and greed. I am somebody, part of a human family. I'm the future, can't you see? Don't turn your back on me. I am somebody, don't you leave me behind. I'm the future, can't you see? Don't turn your back on me. Sometimes I wish that I could make you understand the pain I feel from scars that never seem to heal. Sometimes I wish that we would look in our hearts and see that only love can heal the world. It starts with you and me. Oh yes, I am somebody, part of a human family. I'm the future, can't you see? Don't turn your back on me. I am somebody, don't you leave me behind. I'm the future, can't you see? Don't turn your back on me. I am somebody. Don't you leave me behind. I'm the future, can't you see? Don't turn your back on me.
We've come to the end of another Jamaica Magazine. We hope you enjoyed today's show, and we encourage you to visit our website for all the intriguing news coming out of the government. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Walk and drive good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.